So a little while back, I asked people on Instagram to send me pictures of F2L cases that they struggle with, and now I'm going to go through them and explain how I would solve all of them. If you have more cases that you struggle with, tell me about them in the comments. Let's get started. So a lot of you sent me pictures of this F2L case, and this is one that a lot of people struggle with. So what I would do to solve this one is move it over, and then you insert this corner into the bottom layer with RU', Then you have this F2L case where you line up the edge on the side and do double inverse sexy in order to solve it. Okay, here is another one. And one specific thing from the picture that I'd like to point out is that this back slot is filled, which is important for the way that you approach this case. If this back slot was empty, it's pretty obvious what to do with this case. You just move over the edge like that and insert the pair. But what most people don't know is that you can do almost the exact same thing when that slot is filled. Just ignore the pair, do R'U2R to set that up, insert your pair, and then cancel into inserting that once again in the back. Here is another very common one that people sent me, and this is one where it really helps to know the advanced algorithm. So what I do for this case is keep it in this exact position, and what I do is F, inverse sexy move, F', then I have my solved pair, and I can insert it with RU'. One of the most common cases that people sent me was this one with the flipped edge in its own slot. Now I've made a whole video about this one in the past. If you haven't seen that video, I went over a few alternative approaches that involve getting rid of this pair while solving other pairs, or doing D', flipping the edge, and then doing D back. But if you have this for your last slot, basically what you want to do is just take it out like that, rotate, and solve this pair. And when you do that, you can strategically place wherever your misoriented edges are, so that when you do this, you get EO with all of your edges. Okay, here's another case. From this angle specifically, when you have this F2L case, what I would do is move it over, so you're over the NP slot, and then the way to set up your pair in a good position is move the corner over the edge with L'U', and then you can see you're set up for a 3-move insert. And then here I'd either move it over, do F moves if I'm feeling fancy, or just cube rotate and do an RU', insert to solve it. Here's a slightly more simple one. When you have this case from this angle, I think it's actually best to just cube rotate, so you'd move to this angle, and then you can obviously just split up the pair like that, and then you have your 3-move insert for the pair, and you can just do that. Okay, here is a bit of an interesting one. As cool as it would be to have a rotationless solution for this, what I would do in a solve is just rotate, connect the pair like this, and insert it. And as far as I know, that's what most people would do as well. If anyone has a good rotationless solution for that, please leave it in the comments, because I'm actually very curious about it. Alright, for this case, there are a few options you have. What you can do is do the same solution that you do if you had more open slots, except just do F moves for this part and then insert, or you can rotate, do that, and rotate back, although I wouldn't recommend that really. And then there are a few rotationless solutions. One thing that you can do is insert the corner like that, U2, and then solve like that. And the last thing you can do that I would actually recommend is doing this algorithm, which goes R', D', RU', D, R, then you have your solved pair, and you insert it. Next up, we have this pair where the edge is flipped and the corner is twisted in its slot, and this is another one where there is an advanced algorithm that I highly recommend. So what you would do if you don't do the advanced algorithm is just take it out, cube rotate, and solve this pair by doing that or that. But for the advanced algorithm, what you can do is take it out like this, and then you have a very specific advanced F2L case right here that goes like this. And you can solve the pair like that. For the mirror case, I guess, where instead the corner is twisted the other way and it's facing toward you, you can do a very similar case. You just do the advanced algorithm part of it first, which goes like this, and that sets up to RU', and you just insert your pair. when you have this pair, I think the best option is to cube rotate once again, and then you have a case where you can do R prime, U2, R, and that sets up your F2L pair to where you can easily do a 3-move insert. But what I think some people might want to do here to avoid cube rotating is you can do double sexy to pair up the F2L pair, and then either do a hedge or do an F move insert to solve that pair. Okay, for this one we have a very specific case where we have basically the flipped edge case, except it's in an adjacent slot. So what I would probably do here is just take it out, use this empty slot now, and solve it like that. But one other option that I see the appeal of is cube rotating, so then you can do that all at once like this. And I'd say it's really up to you which you prefer. Okay, when you have this F2L case into the back right slot, what some people would do, and which I recommend slightly, is to cube rotate, and then you have this case which I already went over. But if you don't want to do that, there is a pretty cool solution right here, and you can do this algorithm which goes R prime, F, R prime, F prime, R2. That connects your pair, and then you can insert it. Okay, we have this case right here, and what I would do here is one of two things, probably depending on how EO works out. So one thing I can do is use this empty slot to break them up like this, and then insert, or you can preemptively cube rotate to here, and do what I mentioned earlier, use this as a fake empty slot, and reinsert your F2L pair like that. Okay, someone sent me this case where you have your edge up here and the corner in this slot, and it goes into this slot, and it's not clear from the picture if they're asking about this angle or this angle, so I will go over both. So from this angle, if you move over the edge to right here, taking out the corner like this will set up to a very nice 3-move insert right away. So that's what I do from that angle. And if you're from this angle, moving over the edge like this makes it look kind of like the double sexy case, except we're not trying to go into this slot, we're going into this one. So what you do for that is, once again, move over the edge, start with R, U, R prime, then you have your pair, and you can just insert that. Someone sent me a picture of this, and it's not clear if they're talking about the blue and red pair, the blue and orange pair, or this specific multi-slotting case. So if you're just talking about the blue and red pair, you just move that over, take it out, and insert it, of course. If you have this case with blue and orange, or this multi-slotting case, the algorithm that you would use is R2, U prime, R2, U, R2, and that will solve that. Alright, someone sent me a picture of this case, and although this might seem pretty basic, it is really important to know. There are two main ways of doing it. The first one is just sexy move 3 times, and the second way is doing inverse sexy 3 times like this. And I actually prefer inverse sexy for 2 reasons. First of all, you can do triple inverse sexy from this home grip really easily, and second of all, it allows you to cancel into sledgehammer when you insert, which is better for EO. Next, we have this F2L case, and there are a few options here. The first one is to rotate either here or here, and you have just a double sexy case. But your alternative, if you don't want to rotate, is that from this angle, doing a sledgehammer will connect your pair, and then depending on EO, you can either insert it, do another sledgehammer, do winter variation, whatever you want. So here we have this case, and I'd like to talk about this from multiple points of view. The first one is just for the case alone, and the obvious thing to do is move the corner over the edge like that. Then you have your pair, and you can insert it. But I would also like to talk about this specific EO case that the picture has, where your one flipped edge is in the back like this, and then you can do this algorithm. Alrighty, someone sent in this F2L case, and what you do for this one is move it over so you can use your empty slot here for separating these two with R, U prime, R prime. Then you have the 3-move insert F2L pair, and you just solve that. Here is a case where the edge is solved and the corner is twisted like this. And there are 2 options for this one, assuming that you can't do something with keyhole. So what you can do is take out the pair like that, and then you just have this F2L case. Or you can take them out like this, which separates them at the same time, then pair them up, and then solve them. And when you have the corner twisted the other way, once again you have 2 options. You can take them out like this, which sets up to this F2L case, and you can solve that, or you can take them out the other way and solve this F2L case. Alright, for this F2L case going into the back right slot, what I would usually do is this intuitive RU solution, which is rotationless, where you move it over, insert the corner like this, U2, and then you have this F2L case, which you would solve like that. But I believe there's also an RUD solution from this angle, which is really nice. I don't know it, but I'm going to try and find the algorithm, and if I do, I'll put it on screen here. When you have just this edge insert into the back right like this, there are a few things you can do. One pretty common algorithm goes like this. And another thing that I like to do a lot is just do R prime U R to take out the corner, and then it sets up to this case, and you can just solve that. Alright, next we have this case, and I will show it from both this angle and this angle because it's not super clear from the picture. So from this angle, what I do is move over the corner like this, and then when I take out this edge with RU R prime, it won't move the corner, and the edge will end up here. So you have a simple 3-move insert like that. And when you have it from this angle, I would honestly do the same thing, except I would start off with F moves like that, and then just solve the case. When you have this case that goes into the back left, there are a few things you can do. You can do double sexy like that, which sets up into an insert into the back. You can do double inverse sexy, which connects them, and then you can insert into the back. And one last thing you can do that I wouldn't really recommend from this angle is you can move the corner over to here and do this weird algorithm, which goes L2, wide U, L2, wide U prime, L2, and that will also solve the pair. When you have this F2L pair, the simplest thing to do is set it from this angle, and when you do R U2 R prime to move over the corner like this, and it sets up for a 3-move insert like that. When you have this kind of case, what you want to do is move over the corner so it's in the left like this, and then you can do what I mentioned earlier, except you take out the edge like that, and then you have your 3-move insert once again. If you have a case where it makes this sort of pair with the edge flipped in its slot, there is a pretty nice solution where you move over the corner like this, and then you do a sledgehammer, and that will connect the pair, and you can insert it. And when you have the same thing on the left, you can do the lefty version, or you can just take out the pair and solve it, whichever works best for you. Someone asked me for a rotationless solution to this case, and although doing something like this isn't too bad, there is a rotationless solution that I can show you. You hold it like this, and you would do F, sexy move F prime, that connects the pair, and then you can solve it. So that is all the F2L cases that I have for now. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped you with your most difficult F2L cases. If it did, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and share the video with your other friends. So if you have any other cases you want me to show, leave them in the comments and I might get to them in a future video. I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Brody, signing out.